So that's a huge part, because the blocks that have been there and that we deal with can be eradicated. Is it all at once? No. It depends how much. Some people have had one session, and in a certain area, it's gone. So maybe in that area of health or something, there were some things that weren't too deep, and they're clear. And in a lot of cases, people, and I've always said, and it comes through, the proof of the pudding is what happens afterwards. It's like, this is the work, and then the benefits are after. So what they do is, because of the collective consciousness of the humankind, the other night we spoke about something called the tipping point. And what that is if a certain percentage of humankind, of the minds, at the levels of consciousness, if a certain number become awake, that is enlightenment, on the way to enlightenment, that creates that level of consciousness. When that becomes enough, it doesn't matter where every else's level of consciousness is. When you have a certain amount, that tipping point is enough to create a paradigm shift. And as example it came through the other night is when it was thought that the world was flat, and everybody, the world was flat. And then a few scientists, forward thinkers of that date, gave some reasons why they felt it wasn't flat, and it was like the tipping point, and all of a sudden, a new paradigm shift. The same way with this, as more and more people are falling awake, that tipping point becomes, with that level of consciousness, enough that it'll take others into that paradigm shift. And the paradigm shift is the connection. Connect with Spirit. Know that you are one with God. The small s of self into the large S of Source. The kingdom of heaven is within. It's like Jesus said, what I can do, and I always find that others, that we all have powers within us that we are able to create so much. And of course, it'll come at first of what we want, but as you go along, and there's Maslow's hierarchy, as the things that we need, want, desire are fulfilled, we come up to the top of our expectations and become, it's like enlightened, and to the point where we're giving self-actualization, giving to others, help the others. And that's really our ultimate karmic path. That's where the greatness within each of us rises to the surface and helps others. It's also known as, we're looking for our purpose, our dharma, and this again helps you to realize your dharma, which is your purpose in life. What is it in this life that, and I'm speaking for all of us, we can say that I'm to do. What is my purpose? Well, often with that, some of us know immediately, some maybe not, but certainly when the difficulties are moved away, we have choice. And a lot of times, even if we're not sure what that is, we look, and if we realize, it's like, when they say enough sessions, you look around and you have open, flat space. And what is it you want to make of your life? What is your path? And that's often when I look at, and we're looking together at your name and your path. If you have a path of a 9, it is a spiritual path. So if the lower parts of that hierarchy of needs are met, which means the money problems, and we can always use more, but if all these things are cleared and we're free, if our path is a 9, it is a spiritual path, then what is it that we can do to connect more with Spirit to help us to attain heaven on earth, and therefore those around us? Whatever our path is, each of us has been born with a gift of what we're to do, our purpose, And I remember hearing this myself from Chopra would say, but we each have a gift of ability to do something that no one else can do. But you see how these all connect together. And again, that helps to create heaven on earth. So the vibration of the collective consciousness opens up more and more ultimately, and especially with 2011 and 2012, the tipping point to create that paradigm shift, and especially of no fear. And it comes up a fair amount of times in people's with intentions, and fear and worry. Of course, the two main emotions are love and fear. So all the things we're going to be doing today are all these avenues and ways. Ultimately, they're working on all of your needs, wants, desires, and what it is you want and have asked for. Even if some of you haven't asked and haven't, or there's quite a few in absentia, haven't sent your list, they know, and that's what we'll be working on. So they'll be clearing blocks, they'll be doing healings, manifesting what you need, want, desire, and ultimately to empower you for your path, for your Dharma, each of yours, and to utilize your special purpose. So as many said before, I mean, you notice after a session, serendipitous things that come, and just be aware of that. When I was hearing people speak at the beginning, it reminded me of the archangels, what they've said to me. And initially it was for me too, because I used to just put everybody in, whether they asked or not. And then they said that when that happens, the connection between their soul and the source themselves is that asking. It's like they asked, the people asked Jesus, God, for help. So they need to ask. They said you need to ask, you need to receive, and you need to work with what you receive. And that's what people have been talking. They're saying, I had a session, and then I just asked the Archangel, and you see, that is faith, that is trust. You do it, and you be aware. And it's almost like, and I get that too, this by the way is yes, expecting the best, that will become what you receive. And we'll be working on clearing those nagging, some of those negative, and everybody's on a different area of where they are. And sometimes there's those left brain, yeah, buts. And it's like the right brain is the connection, what's what Carl Jung said, the subconscious mind with the unconscious. But the subconscious mind is like what connects to your heart.